Hello, people of YouTube. My name is Steve Gray. Thank you for watching. If you're new here, please hit that subscribe button, turn on that notification bell, leave a like, and feel free to comment down below what you would like me to do for future anime and cartoon-related content. So today we are talking about Akudama Drive, Season 1, Episode 11. Only one episode left, and let me tell you, we got left on a giant cliffhanger. So yeah, that was kind of crazy. Like, this felt like it should be the last episode, but it wasn't. You know, kind of wrapped up all happy and giddy-like, and then boom, giant explosion. Everybody's dead. Theoretically. At least that's what I think might have happened. So before we get into all of it, let's talk about the nitty-gritty. So the executioners took care of the rioting by basically killing half of the citizens. Bad. So there's probably still in some works of some sort of revolution against the police and all of that. And the boss and the executioners. A lot of people are going to want to kill all the executioners now, obviously, because they were told to kill all the citizens, because they labeled them as Akudama, because they were rioting and killing people on the streets. So technically they were and weren't at the same time. It's kind of a weird combination of things. And there's going to be some problems at some point in time. You know, executioners versus the people. That is definitely going to happen in the foreseeable future, depending on how this season actually ends. So, meanwhile, while that is all taking place and going on, and we're seeing piles of dead bodies rounded up by robots, Courier and Swindler are both in this kind of like dreamlike state. Courier is back in like a childlike state, and Swindler has her long hair. She's got her pink dress back, all that good jazz, and she is just kind of living her life and entertaining herself. And basically, they're trapped in this kind of virtual reality thing, where Courier is with his mother, just hanging out, watching movies. He's still completing his job, getting paid. And Swindler never picked up the yen, never tried to give it back to him. She actually had money at the time. She bought the food, so she never got in trouble. And then she goes back home, lays in her bed, and is super comfy. And these images just keep on playing on repeat, like over and over and over again. I guess they're just like a happy moment, or the most recent happy moment of their lives in this virtual reality. And this is all happening to them while they are on the train to Kanto. And we learn that Kanto isn't really a place at all. Basically, Kanto completely got blown up. The people of Kanto got so evolved, they actually basically uploaded their conscious mind, so they no longer have bodies. And that is actually what was happening to them until Hacker showed up out of nowhere. So yes, Hacker, because he was smarter than everybody else, he was able to keep his consciousness singular and not, multiple consciousnesses kind of mashing all together in this giant kind of quantum computer-looking thing that takes a bunch of different weird shapes. Almost around into like a fourth-dimensional black hole. Kind of Adventure Time. I don't know if you've ever seen that. When the Finn got smart, kind of looked like that giant cube thing. Multiple different shapes, ever kind of changing to people's central desires. But Hacker was able to get into it, figure out what the heck all these people from Kanto actually wanted, because obviously there's somebody in there that is generally controlling the entire thing and the consciousness of all these people, giving them all of these constant happy memories. So it's basically you're in a never-ending loop of blissful ignorance, which I feel like that would kind of be nice some days. I'll be honest, But at the same time, if you're always happy, then happy doesn't feel like happy anymore to a certain extent. But who knows? They ended up blowing it up. That's what matters. So the reason they needed the two immortal kids and why they wanted Kanzai to make them is because even the mind eventually goes and dies, and that's basically what was happening. Is this one giant collective computer being was slowly succumbing to age, becoming more and more old, and slowly inching closer to death. So whoever it was in charge of Kanto devised a master plan to basically transfer all of Kanto into the body of these two immortal beings, brother and sister, so they could theoretically live forever, and brother and sister would be none the wiser. However, that also kind of played into their downfall, because they made brother and sister aware of their own consciousness. And we got to actually see all of the people that were inside brother and sister in order to make them immortal came out and ended up helping Hacker in the end, getting him to brother and sister in order to touch them and have Swindler touch them at the same time to get them out of that mess. And Hacker then had the ability to basically blow the entire thing up, killing himself as well in the process. So Hacker is dead now as well. He was technically, his body was already gone, but his consciousness was alive. So now at this point in time, his consciousness is dead as well, because he was basically his last act was to hack into the train, bring Courier, Swindler, brother and sister to some location that nobody knows about, and they can live out their lives as like a happy little family away from everybody else. Don't have to worry about Akudama crap anymore. Doesn't have to worry about the delivery anymore or anything along those lines. We get a little bit of Courier's background too. Basically, he got his hand shot off after a job, and we know why he thinks drop money is bad luck, because after he did a job, one of these sleazeball looking dudes dropped a 500 yen piece. Said, "Get yourself some candy." He picked it up. He went to go see his mom, who unfortunately got shot for whatever reason, probably because of the job he just did. And then he ended up getting his hand shot off in the process. So that's why he thinks drop money is bad luck and never picked it up, and why Swindler's in the situation that she's in, because she picked it up trying to deliver it to Courier. I think Swindler has a little bit of a crush on Courier. We got to see a little bit more of that. I mean, I always thought it was kind of there, but now it's kind of definitely more prominent. When he returned, she finally returned the coin to him, and they both kind of said this phrase like the sister is ugly or something. And because they had both of that coin in common, it allowed them to have the ability to have their consciousness snapped out of joining Kanto and, forever being Kanto, and forever being trapped in that swirl of consciousness. I'm guessing basically what that consciousness did to all the people that were initially on the train was absorbed it into it to either extend its life to a certain extent with fresh people, because I don't know if it's like one giant living being or multiple different beings. It kind of reminds me of Futurama, where they're having like this giant Death Star thing powered by a bunch of old people using them as batteries. Kind of the same principle. So it needs more people to recharge its batteries, and obviously people die eventually. But if you're immortal, then you're good to go. You never have to worry about that, which is why it wanted brother and sister. But as we know from the end credits, the whole friggin' train got blown up. So we don't know if Courier and Swindler and brother or sister were on that train, but we definitely know that it got blown up, because we saw at the end of it, they blew up the entire train going to Kanto. Kanto now itself is completely gone as far as we know. So now it's like the Executioners versus Courier and Swindler. The revolution is done, theoretically anyway. And everyone is kind of good to go. And we only have one episode left, so I don't think they're dead. Hacker's probably last, thing was, hey, don't get on the train. He hacked into the database of the Executioners, found that out. I guess it's possible that they died, and then they're just going to kind of wrap everything up as everything going back to normal, and now they no longer have to serve Kanto. We don't really know who the boss's boss is. So if Kanto is destroyed, then who is going to give orders to the boss now? I don't know if it was some sort of like alien figure, or if there's some mastermind that's actually controlling the entire thing, or a couple of different people, kind of bringing in some Darling in the Franxx stuff in there, but I don't really know how that's going to play out. If there is a mastermind, or Kanto was the mastermind, and it was just a bunch of consciousnesses, trying to form Kansai, even though technically Kansai is, I would say, the better place to live, even with all the crime and stuff, because you can actually get to live and you're not in a giant cesspool of blissful ignorance for the rest of eternity, theoretically. Because that's basically what it is all these people wanted to be immortal, so they uploaded their consciousnesses so they could theoretically be immortal and replay the same happy images in their brain over and over and over and over again until the end of time. Which, it kind of sounds nice. Not terrible, but at the same time, a little rough, too. So, one episode left. Only a couple episodes left of Yashahime and Jujutsu Kaisen. I think there's going to be a break, not 100%, but we'll just wait and see what happens with there. And you will get to see some Final Space news possibly tomorrow. I think they're doing some sort of trailer around noonish. I won't get out of work till later, but hopefully I can upload that video, or you might see it Sunday, because obviously I got Jujutsu Kaisen coming out, so I want to get that review out typically the same day that the show comes out. More people seem to watch it that way. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. My name is Steve Gray. Thank you for watching, and as always, have a good one.